could you not be excited about this wedding, right?
It's a royal wedding like we've never seen before.
When Harry and Meghan marry, the whole country will come to a standstill.
Britain's hottest prince is marrying a beautiful all-American actress.
She happens to be an American woman of color, and has there ever been something so great to unite the world?
Never before has a royal bride been a feminist, an activist, and an entrepreneur.
Meghan Markle has got the potential to revolutionize the royal family.
Together, Harry and Meghan are bringing some royal rebellion to the party.
You would think the British royal family would hold their hands up in horror.
We'll reveal the insider secrets of the big day, from the cake
Be gone, fruitcake, said Meghan Markle.
to the all-important dress.
It's going to look unlike any other wedding dress we've seen in the last 50 years in this family.
We'll unveil the ultra-exclusive guest list.
I think we're likely to see the Beckhams.
Elton John hasn't been invited.
Why tiaras can be trouble,
It was rushed off to the Crown Jewellers' workshops under police escort.
and in what special way will the couple honor Harry's mom?
Harry wants her to be there. He wants to be part of the occasion.
This is not your typical royal wedding. It's an international sensation.
I think that Harry and Meghan's wedding is going to be absolutely revolutionary. I think it's going to change royal weddings in the future.
The spectacular wedding of Meghan and Harry at Windsor Castle on May 19th is causing excitement all over the world.
I think the combination of this lovable royal with this American Hollywood princess means it really is a blockbuster wedding.
What I think is going to be really interesting is because Harry is not going to be king, he can have a lot more freedom in who he invites, how he does it, where he does it.
Charles and Diana's wedding was the biggest royal wedding ever, with 3,500 guests at St. Paul's Cathedral. William and Kate's nuptials were also a huge occasion with nearly 2,000 guests. Both these weddings had homegrown brides.
The royals before have really married British people, very British. Kate was such an English rose, such an English girl.
This international royal wedding has only 600 guests, but size is irrelevant. It's the most exciting, most surprising royal wedding there's ever been.
Harry has proved himself as a leader of men in a war zone. Meghan has proved herself as a successful career woman.
Meghan is a real breath of fresh air because she's an international woman. She's lived all over and she has a very global outlook, and that's what I think she really has in common with Prince Harry.
This is the most important wedding ever. It is the most important day in all of our lives, because how often does somebody fall in love with a prince in the UK?
That is Harry right there.
And she happens to be an American woman of color. And has there ever been something so great to unite the world?
Windsor Castle is a fairy tale setting for the wedding, but 1,000 years ago, it was built as a fortress. Its massive walls mean only those with invitations will be able to enter its gates.
Unfortunately for Harry, he can't just have that very personal service of just him and Meghan committing themselves to each other for the rest of their lives. He has to kind of have the eyes of the world upon him. But I think what he and Meghan have managed to do is to weave those two things together very well, the public and the private.
As with all royal weddings, every minute is planned, but not for the convenience of American royal fans. Guests begin arriving before 5 a.m. Eastern Time. It'll be 7 a.m., 12 o'clock in Britain, when Meghan starts her walk down the aisle.
You're thinking the pomps and circumstances of a royal wedding, and here you have these two, what seem to be free-spirited and very much in love people that may shake things up a little bit. So that's pretty exciting to watch.
The early start is essential because royal wedding days have a packed schedule. The service will take an hour, and then Meghan will appear with her new husband on the steps outside Windsor Castle's St. George's Chapel. When Harry's grandmother and Meghan's mother appear, it will be a first in royal history.
The image that I can just visualize today is The Queen, the longest reigning monarch in history, emerging from St George's Chapel, standing next to Doria Ragland, someone whose family descend directly from slaves. And that, for me, will be a very telling moment.
For the first time in centuries, the British royal family is going to look just a little bit more like the Commonwealth that they've ruled over this whole time.
In another unique Meghan and Harry twist, they will be greeted by 2,600 members of the public.
These are not people that have just been plucked from obscurity. They've committed their lives to helping others.
It's being known now as the People's Wedding.
And these golden ticket holders will witness firsthand the big moment all the fans will be waiting for, the kiss on the chapel steps. There's no balcony at Windsor Castle, so this will replace the iconic traditional Buckingham Palace balcony kiss.
Maybe we'll see more of a public display of affection than we did with William and Kate, because we know the couple are very besotted and there's a sense that they can't keep their hands off each other.
The bride and groom will have a full royal escort for a carriage ride around the town of Windsor. In under 25 minutes, they'll be heading back into the castle to the formal reception. The day will finish with an evening party.
I could just imagine this reception with all of their hundreds of fabulous, famous guests all loosening up. And oh my God, what if the Queen is dancing too?
The first shockwaves around the globe could be Meghan's choice of wedding dress. It's a very public statement of just how she intends to rock royal convention.
The dress will be the big moment for Meghan. That will be telling us what kind of girl she is and how she wants to work it.
The pressure is huge.
The image of Meghan that we have on her wedding day will be the one that we'll remember forever.
Meghan has Queen Victoria to blame for public speculation about royal bridal wear.
It was only Queen Victoria who actually started the fashion for royal weddings, because previous to her, brides often wore any old dress. But Queen Victoria wore a white dress and people were shocked. They thought she was practically getting married in her nightdress.
And do you know why white was not popular then? There's no dry cleaners.
Meghan is a highly unusual royal bride. She's been married before, and that means we've already seen her dream wedding gown.
Her first wedding was a civil ceremony. Then she had a party on the beach. It was kind of lovely strapless column dress, but it was lots of beach games, drinking, wheelbarrow races.
Her new wedding dress will be much more formal, but it could still reflect Meghan's California cultural heritage.
There's a lot of skin stateside. Plunging necklines, sheer cutouts, the back totally out of it.
Whatever style Meghan prefers, the choice won't be hers alone. It's a little-known fact that she officially needs the Queen's approval.
The wedding dress has to be shown to the Queen. The plan has to be shown to the Queen of the wedding dress, and then the actual wedding dress has to be shown to the Queen.
The Queen approved Diana and Kate's ball gown-style wedding dresses, but Meghan is rumored to be thinking of something never seen before.
I don't think we're going to have a moment where the bride wears black or anything, but I think that Meghan's appearance will probably be a bit surprising in that I imagine she won't be as tailored as the Duchess of Cambridge, because she's quite boho and she does things in her own style.
I understand that she wanted something quite conservative, but also something bodycon with perhaps a little kind of fishtail, which is very Meghan.
The question on everyone's lips: who will she be wearing?
There are names just popping out of the woodwork.
And not just for the wedding dress itself. Meghan will wear a second dress to the evening reception. Leading British designer Burberry chief Christopher Bailey is a top tip for this one. Along with Erdem Moroglu, Meghan wore a high-necked floral maxi dress by the avant-garde designer to a wedding in Jamaica. Another name in the frame is French designer Roland Mouret. He became friends with Meghan after bumping into her in a hotel elevator, telling her, "I'd love to dress you." But there's one qualification needed by the designer of the dress she wears to walk down the aisle.
She's got to wear a British wedding dress. If she didn't wear a British designer, it would be a major pearl clutcher of a moment. Yeah. It would be seen as very rude. She's not going to do that. Everyone already thinks Americans are rude. Like, we can't have that happen. We can't lean into that.
One British name seems an obvious choice:
She may wear Stella McCartney because Stella obviously has a British father and an American mother, and it's a nice shout out to that sort of a relationship.
Stella McCartney has a very beautiful fashion ethic. It's quite romantic, very feminine. She doesn't want the dress to swamp the woman. She wants the woman to wear the dress.
But in the days before the wedding, reports are circulating that Meghan has picked a hand-stitched, heavily beaded gown by Ralph and Russo.
Ralph and Russo are a couturier that do normal clothes and bridal clothes, and the bookmakers in Britain have suspended betting on them having some involvement in the bridal attire.
Although originally Australian, Ralph and Russo have a British-based business. They made Meghan's engagement dress at the eye-watering cost of $75,000.
I bet she's never worn a gown that expensive, and it looked phenomenal on her. That dress is any indication of what they would do as a wedding gown. I think they're pretty much on mark with that.
The wedding dress is said to cost $135,000, but Meghan needn't worry. Harry's family will be paying.
I am dying to see this dress. I am so excited for it. In my humble opinion, it's going to look unlike any other wedding dress we've seen in the last 50 years in this family.
Coming up, Harry's exes may be there to watch him tie the knot.
I would never want exes at my own wedding.
And the party to end all parties. For Meghan, wedding day headwear could be a headache. To wear a tiara or not to wear one.
The tiara symbolises the crowning of love and really the loss of innocence, actually, as well. It's a bit like a wedding band. The bride would wear a tiara for the very first time on her wedding day.
It's tradition for her to wear a tiara. You want to wear a tiara.
I mean,
like, we want her to wear a tiara.
How many chances in your life?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess she'll get plenty of chances to wear a tiara, but come on, wear a tiara.
She should wear a tiara.
This is time number one. This is the first time you never forget your first tiara, I'm told.
But there's a problem for Meghan and every non-aristocratic bride.
Traditionally, a bride would wear her own family tiara on the actual day of her wedding, and then from there on, wear the tiaras from her husband's family. And this is exactly what happened with Lady Diana Spencer. When she married Prince Charles, she wore the Spencer tiara, but then never wore it again.
How many people really have a family tiara?
That's for my next wedding.
Tiaras look like a dream, but can be a nightmare. Just hours before the Queen decided to wear her grandmother's Russian fringe tiara at her wedding, there was a bit of tiara trouble. It broke apart.
It was rushed off to the Crown Jewellers' workshops under police escort. It was repaired and then straight back. And you can see in some of the footage where the pinnacles are, there's just a slight gap. But by the time you see it worn again at the next royal wedding, which is that of the Queen's daughter, Princess Anne, those pinnacles are actually perfectly aligned. So that piece has obviously gone back for further restoration.
The Queen lent Kate the all-diamond halo tiara, which was made by Cartier in 1936. And, just like Kate, Meghan is likely to be loaned a tiara from the Queen's precious collection.
I wonder if she might go for something like the lotus flower tiara, which is 19th century, but almost has a Belle Epoque, early Art Deco feel about it, which is very modern looking. An alternative might be something like the Cambridge Lover's Knot tiara, which is packed with symbolism. It's set with diamonds for eternity. Pearls represent purity, but are also born of the sea, like Venus, the goddess of love. So it's a really romantic example if you were to go for that one.
Tiaras help make a fairy tale wedding, but for Kate, there was no fairy tale castle, just an ancient abbey. Harry has gone down a different route for his princess.
He really has protected this wedding within the walls and the fortifications of Windsor Castle. The only time the public are going to see him is for the half an hour when he and Meghan go on a carriage procession through the streets of Windsor.
Windsor Castle really summons up a lot of romance. It was the place where Prince Philip fell in love with Queen Elizabeth.
It was 1939, just before the outbreak of World War II. the Queen was just 13, and Prince Philip was an 18-year-old naval cadet. Soon after the war broke out, in great secrecy, the Queen, Princess Margaret, and the crown jewels were evacuated from Buckingham Palace to Windsor Castle. It was a good decision. The castle was never bombed.
There have been rumours that was because Hitler said to the Luftwaffe, don't hit it directly, because when I become King of England, when I invade, I'm going to live there.
After the war and her coronation in 1953, Windsor Castle became the Queen's weekend home.
Windsor Castle is the Queen's favourite residence. It's her home as opposed to the office, which is Buckingham Palace in London.
On her wedding anniversary in 1992, a fire broke out in the castle.
It was very painful for her. It was in the midst of a difficult time, and she was very shocked by it. What it has meant is that Windsor has been completely renovated. Everything is really state-of-the-art, and that is very unlike a lot of the other palaces. Some of the other palaces in Britain are, I have to say, a little bit drafty, a little bit damp, and a tiny bit down at heel.
St. George's Chapel, just inside the massive walls of Windsor Castle, is where Meghan will marry her prince.
This is where the Queen's mother, her father, and her sister are interred. I mean, this holds a lot of personal poignancy to it.
Harry was christened there, and that's a very important place for him because it was so important to his mother. And his mother is no longer with us, but Harry wants her to be part of the occasion, and that is one way of remembering her, that it was where he was christened when she was a young new mother.
Windsor Castle, the largest inhabited castle in the world, has its own team of florists with experience of flower arranging for every occasion. But Meghan and Harry have taken a radical step. They've chosen London-based self-taught florist Philippa Craddock.
They're breaking with tradition by using a young, new florist that's not really been used to working on royal events.
She has employed Philippa Craddock to oversee all the flowers for the royal wedding, but she's also going to use florists from Windsor Castle and Buckingham Palace.
Philippa Craddock has a reputation for not just interpreting a bride's brief, but making sure the flowers bring her dreams to life. The regular royal florists have the essential practical skills needed to make a royal wedding bouquet.
When anyone looks at a bridal bouquet, it needs to appear very soft and gentle and loose, and they will not have any understanding of the engineering and the work that's gone into it. Kate Middleton's bouquet was like a piece of jewellery. Each flower was wired individually.
Meghan's contemporary bouquet will acknowledge tradition with one secret element.
Myrtle is the ingredient that's been within virtually every bouquet since Queen Victoria was married. Within Diana, Princess of Wales bouquet were these beautiful freesia that smell beautiful, and fragrant garden roses that smell like Turkish delight. Peonies are one of Miss Markle's absolute favourites, and they smell beautiful, and they're a proper typical Mayflower, blousy and beautiful.
One little-known fact about the Queen's wedding bouquet means Meghan will have a backup.
Ever since Her Majesty the Queen's bouquet was lost between Westminster Abbey and the official photographs, it's been a tradition that royal brides have always had two bouquets created.
The mystery of the disappearing bouquet has never been solved.
All the photos that were taken of her after the ceremony, she's without one. And it's probably some footman that worked for the rest of his life, terrified of being discovered that he was the one that dropped that bag of tablecloths on it.
Prince Harry has announced that he will have his brother by his side as his best man.
As for Meghan, it remains unclear who will be walking her down the aisle.
Her dad, Thomas Markle Sr., can't always be relied upon, so until he's actually in this country, I think she'll be a bit nervous about whether he actually turns up.
There's plenty of speculation about who else will be in the bridal party. There are only two sure bets.
I think we're definitely going to see Prince George as a page boy and Princess Charlotte, who will just be shy of her 3rd birthday as a bridesmaid.
young bridesmaids cannot be guaranteed to follow royal protocol. One of the most iconic moments of Kate and William's day was photobombed by the 3-year-old goddaughter of Prince William, Grace Van Cutsum, showing her displeasure at all the noise from the crowd. It's wise to have an older chief bridesmaid in control. Kate chose her sister Pippa.
In the UK, the bridesmaids follow the bride down the aisle, whereas every US wedding I've been to, the bridesmaids enter the church ahead of the bride.
Adulation over Pippa's back view nearly eclipsed the bride. Meghan has decided to avoid this British quirk. Her girlfriends will help her get ready, and her mother will accompany her in the car to the ceremony.
She is very close to her mum, who she credits with really bringing her up and instilling in her the passion and the intellect and the ambition that she has today.
It does feel like very special to see her with her mom. I think that, seeing a Black princess entering this family is something that's not just historic, but it's also exciting, and I think it kind of shows that the times are changing.
For the first time ever, Harry and Meghan have invited nearly 2,600 people to stand outside the steps of St. George's Chapel to watch them walk out as man and wife.
There are people who are being really rewarded for selfless, unpaid, often thankless work in their communities, and many are from local schools, a lot from charities, and it's been amazing to see their response.
The post was delivered and I saw the royal sign on it, and I went, wow, what on earth can this be?
Prince Harry has put the spotlight on mental health charities. Pamela's organization promotes recovery through creativity.
As soon as I opened it, I saw it was an invitation to the wedding, and so shocked. Why me?
Once upon a time, royal weddings were for the elite. But in this case, these are these completely ordinary people. Some of them have never been into a palace in their lives. They are now part of the royal wedding, and that's really exciting.
I'm British, so I love the royal family. I love Prince Harry. I feel truly blessed to have been recognized and chosen to attend this wedding.
Coming up, who are the lucky 600 who have been invited inside the church?
What's most interesting, actually, is who hasn't been invited.
And what is a morning suit?
In America, that could be a tracksuit. That could be an Adidas tracksuit.
Only 600 people have been invited inside St. George's Chapel to watch Harry and Meghan tie the knot. Just as at Harry's brother's wedding, the invitations were created by Barnard and Westwood.
They were printed on English cardstock, but using American ink. Small, yes, but a tribute to Meghan's American roots.
The invitations look traditional, but there's a modern twist.
I suppose the invitations did break the mold. They had to reference Meghan as Ms because she's previously been married.
It could be read also as a feminist statement. I think Meghan's saying, I don't have to be pigeonholed by my marriage, Mrs., or my lack of marriage, Miss, as to who I am.
Who are the lucky guests with a golden ticket to the royal wedding?
What's most interesting, actually, about the guest list is who hasn't been invited.
Harry and Meghan have made a very clear choice not to invite political leaders, so we won't see Mr. Obama, even though he is very good friends with Harry and Meghan. He won't be there, Mr. Trump won't be there.
US presidents are not the only people missing out on an invitation.
Harry hasn't invited a number of European royalty that you would expect would really come to a British royal family. He said, if I don't know them or if I haven't met them, they're not coming.
And Meghan has also left some people off her guest list.
We expect to see her mother, of course.
Meghan is not close to her half-brother and sister, especially since they started talking to the British media.
Samantha Markle was really quite rude about Meghan, labelled her princess pushy, said she was a social climber, said that she would use Prince Harry, use and abuse him and then dump him. So Samantha Markle wasn't exactly touting for her wedding invitation.
Meghan has said her friends are her family, and plenty of them will be invited. No exes are included, unlike for Harry.
I understand that both Chelsea Davy and Cressida Bonas will both be invited. Those are Harry's main two ex-girlfriends. Chelsea, of course, the love of his life that he met when he was still at school. And they were dating on and off for 6 or 7 years. Cressida, he was going out with for a couple of years. They're still friends of his. And Meghan is not a woman who's going to be fazed by having Harry's ex-girlfriends in the congregation.
I would never want exes at my own wedding. And why would you invite them to this wedding? Harry, don't invite your exes to the wedding.
On Meghan's side, however, I wouldn't expect to see her ex-husband, Trevor Engelson, there anytime soon.
Although he's been very dignified and has kept his silence, he is producing this extraordinary drama series about a guy who was dumped by his girlfriend. He then goes on to marry a prince. A bit close to the bone, I think.
The wedding won't be short of celebrities.
I think we're likely to see the Beckhams, who Harry is close to, but Victoria Beckham has also forged quite a close friendship with Meghan. I think Ellie Goulding is another celebrity name that we can probably expect to see because she's a very good friend of Prince Harry's.
And also I understand 20 members from the cast of Suits have also been invited.
We are also hoping, tennis fans like me, that we see Serena Williams coming with her daughter, which will be very exciting.
I think Elton John hasn't been invited. Actually, I expected him to be invited, but he says that he hasn't received his invitation.
Harry's half of the church will be overflowing with royal relatives, plenty of them married at St. George's Chapel themselves.
Edward and Sophie married there. We also saw Peter Phillips getting married there, Princess Anne's son, and also Prince Charles. He and Duchess of Cornwall, Camilla, they actually married at the registry office, but they had their blessing at the chapel.
For Kate, mother of 3.5-week-old Louis, the wedding will be particularly challenging.
It really doesn't give her much time to get back in shape. I feel so sorry for Kate. I've got 2 very young children myself, and I had to get match fit for a wedding 6 weeks after my second child, and it was awful. It was such a pressure.
Breastfeeding stuff is going to happen at some point. The other thing about the wedding for Kate, she's probably exhausted, and the last thing she wants is to be partying into the night.
At 1 p.m. after the ceremony, the royal party and the new bride and groom will leave Windsor Castle and travel through the surrounding streets. The crowd at Windsor will have just under 25 minutes to enjoy the pomp and pageantry of the procession, led by the Queen and her official bodyguard.
For Prince William's wedding in 2011, I was part of the Sovereign's escort in my duties as a member of the Household Cavalry. We're on top of our horses in our nice uniforms, carrying our swords with our shiny helmets. And as the Sovereign's escort, your only responsibility is to the Queen. So if anything did go wrong, something unspeakable happened, we would be there to react and to defend that person, the Sovereign.
If it rains, the new bride and groom will be in the Scottish state coach. But, weather permitting, they'll be in an open Ascot landau, just as Harry was at his brother's wedding. Horses make any carriage procession unpredictable, despite plenty of night rehearsals.
What was missing from those rehearsals was the crowd's reaction, which was a great cheer. So we were all battling with our horses to sort of keep them still and keep them steady. And I remember that a colleague of mine asked his horse to move forward, and the horse moved forward a lot and actually threw him off. It was a hell of a crash. But he got himself up on his feet and stood to attention carrying his sword before William and Kate passed them in their carriage.
At William and Kate's wedding in London, there were 1 million spectators. But the narrow streets of Windsor mean there's only room for 100,000.
We are definitely going to be flying from Los Angeles to the UK for the wedding.
Windsor is one of our favorite towns in England.
Tourists shouldn't arrive too early, as no tents or sleeping bags are allowed, but should beware of being too late. After the town is full, no trains will be allowed to stop at Windsor.
There's probably not going to be another royal wedding like this for a very long time. And we thought, why not go over there and buy some commemorative tea towels?
But it is small compared to London. And that was part of what made us so curious. Like, how is this tiny town going to handle an event that is arguably more anticipated than William and Kate's, because everybody has such a place in their heart for hot Harry.
The lucky 100,000 who get to line the streets of Windsor will have to go through airport-style security scanners, all part of a ring of steel that's estimated to cost $43 million. Coming up, will the American guests need hat help?
I hope Camilla takes Meghan Markle's mom out for like a hat shopping excursion.
And the high-risk royal wedding cake.
Buttercream could slip. That could be a disaster.
At William and Kate's very British wedding, guests received a 22-page guide to etiquette with their invitations.
I think the number one difference between the American and this British royal wedding is probably the dress code.
Will Harry and Meghan's guests also be warned not to wear white, black, or dresses too far above the knee?
We in America dress formally for a nice wedding, but we're not used to the rules that will be in place at the royal wedding. You shouldn't see open shoulders, never have open-toe shoes with pantyhose. We also want to make sure Americans coming to the royal wedding should wear a hat.
So you'll see a lot of posh wedding guests who have some kind of lid on that's spectacular or hideous, hopefully both.
Not necessarily the bigger the better. You need to be careful about that. We don't want big brimmed hats. You don't want to wear anything too large where people behind you can't see.
As you know, Meghan's from Los Angeles, as is her mother, and we never wear hats. Like, I wear a Dodger cap, but like, I've never worn a hat. So I hope Camilla takes Meghan Markle's mom out for like a hat shopping excursion, and like, she's getting hat help.
Even the royals get it wrong. At William and Kate's wedding, Harry's cousins, Beatrice and Eugenie, wore hats that hit the headlines.
I thought perhaps the hats were a bit over the top. Somebody likened one of them to looking a bit like a pretzel, so it wasn't the best look, perhaps.
Mistakes are easily made with men's wedding wear.
What does morning suit mean? In America, that could be a tracksuit. That could be an Adidas tracksuit.
British morning suits are tailcoats worn with a vest and trousers with a stripe.
Americans won't own morning suits. They will need to go out and find one and be tailored to perfection.
Even the correctly suited and booted shouldn't high-five any passing royals.
It's very important to remember that you never approach a royal, you always wait to be approached. Same thing with speaking to them. If you do have to curtsy, it's just hands to your side, and it's a very subtle, slow dip, and if you want to show extra respect, you can also tilt your chin down when you dip, but no massive curtsy required.
Once the wedding ceremony's over, the 600 guests are invited to nearby St. George's Hall. It's a chance to find out if Meghan has managed to influence the food served at this private lunch.
The food at royal weddings can sometimes be a bit traditional, but Meghan, I think, is really going to shake things up.
She is very much into kind of clean eating in terms of low carbs, protein, juices, eating lots and lots of fresh vegetables, which is quite at odds with the perception of the royal family as kind of stodgy, suet pudding and roast beef and roast potatoes.
Meghan's new father-in-law may be the chief cheerleader for some of her ideas about food.
Prince Charles and Meghan will be joined at the hip because they are both farm-to-table people through and through.
Meghan does have a surprisingly high-placed guide to help her plan her big day.
I was told by a contact only recently that Meghan, who's learning to drive on the left, has been whizzing up to Windsor for meetings with the Queen, to discuss things like flowers and canapes and what wines are going to be on the list.
The Queen has a few food foibles of her own.
When the Queen of England is done eating, everyone is done eating. So you'll see the butlers run in and removing all the plates. Doesn't matter if you have half a bowl of soup left.
What if you have this beautiful piece of meat, but you're talking to a really interesting neighbor, and then you take 2 bites and all
Too bad.
And it's gone.
Eat up.
I don't want to stop eating just because the Queen stopped eating. I'm a slow eater.
If they're still hungry afterwards, they can go and grab a sandwich.
Meghan may be a clean-eating Californian who's passionate about being healthy, but she does enjoy a drink.
Meghan, of course, comes from the great home of wine. She comes from California, the greatest wine in the world, some of it. So I wonder whether we're going to see some English sparkling wine, or whether we're going to see some California sparkling wine.
There'll be lots of it. Meghan is the thirsty socialite. She's often said in her blog how she likes nothing more than a glass of rosé glass of champagne, a dirty martini.
Alcohol is her best bet for bonding with royals.
You might be surprised to learn that the British royal family, the Queen in particular, she likes drinking.
But she better be careful how she toasts her new in-laws.
The Queen famously hates the sound of ice cubes clinking together. So if you imagine like Meghan walking over to the ice bucket, like she'd better make sure there's something round in there. So if she shovels out a couple square ice cubes, she's gonna cause a scandal.
The wedding speeches should come as a light relief. This is one area where Meghan has thrown the rulebook out the window.
We understand that Meghan is going to be giving a speech on her wedding day, which is, of course, not the done thing for a royal bride. It's largely to protect her father from having to give that, incredibly nerve-wracking and very important father of the bride speech.
I think it's marvellous that Meghan's going to give her own speech in the wedding, because quite often we get just the men speaking. We get the father of the bride, we get the groom, we get the best man.
It's a sign of how she operates as a feminist, and I think that it's sort of a way of her to say, listen, I don't need anyone else to speak for me. I'm here to speak for myself.
I think that it's very likely that she will talk of Diana, how she wishes she could have been there. She'll talk of the royal family, she'll talk of Prince Harry, and she'll talk about how much she's been welcomed there, and also about Britain itself, about how Britain itself has opened up its arms to her.
When the speeches are over, it'll be time for cake. The royal wedding cake is not being made, as it traditionally is, by the Queen's chef. Harry and Meghan have chosen Claire Patak.
They've chosen a baker from East London. She's originally from California, so she's an American, and she's making an entirely different kind of cake to the ones that we normally see at royal weddings.
Traditionally, royal wedding cakes are 12 feet tall, made up of 17 fruit cakes, very heavy, covered in fondant icing. Begone, fruitcake, said Meghan Markle. I am going to be having lemon and elderflower buttercream.
I think the lemon and the elderflower sponge cake is marrying the American and the English traditions. The English countryside is covered in elderflower in May.
This is about as different from a royal wedding cake as you could possibly get. It would be like Meghan wearing blue to her wedding instead of white.
But will Meghan be able to have her cake and eat it too?
The buttercream icing is slightly less stable. So depending on the weather, buttercream could slip and it could start to slide. That could be a disaster.
Coming up, what'll be the new married name for Ms. Meghan Markle?
She would not be called Meghan, Princess Meghan.
And how would Harry's mom have felt about the wedding?
It is days like today when I really miss having her around.
When the afternoon reception with 600 guests is over, 200 of the couple's closest friends and family will get to change their outfits and head off to an evening party.
These will be the people who helped to get them together. These will be the family who have seen them through thick and thin. These will be the friends who will never, ever breach a confidence by talking.
William and Kate's London wedding meant their evening party could be at Buckingham Palace. Meghan and Harry have chosen Frogmore House, just half a mile away from Windsor Castle.
That's going to be really the moment where you see Prince Harry and Meghan kind of let their hair down, have a little fun, and really celebrate the fact that they're in love.
Oh my God, I want to be at that reception. Can you imagine how great this reception is going to be? You know that Harry is going to dance so hard, he's going to knock over furniture.
There's definitely going to be some surprises at the evening party, which Meghan and Harry see as theirs. So I think Meghan wants to bring her kind of American influence and flavour into things.
You know there's going to be some interesting food there. Maybe miniature shepherd's pies or fish and chips, along with some sushi rolls or taquitos, something very California, mixed with something very British.
Alcohol may be the same diplomatic mix, Californian wine with Scottish or Irish spirits.
Harry likes whiskey, so I think she wants to do a whiskey bar and have lots and lots of different aged whiskies that people can try.
When and where Meghan and Harry will go on their honeymoon is still a closely guarded secret.
Everyone's suggesting the honeymoon is going to be in Africa because it's so beloved of Prince Harry and it's where they had their first romantic break.
I suspect it will be a typical honeymoon destination. It will be a private island in the middle of nowhere, so they can be completely on their own.
After the honeymoon, where will the newlyweds call home?
Meghan and Harry at the moment are living in quite a small 2-bedroom cottage within the grounds of Kensington Palace called Nottingham Cottage. They may choose to move into Diana's former apartment. It's the only place really left at Kensington Palace that's big enough. Whether that is too emotionally sensitive for Harry, I don't know. Perhaps it will offer him tremendous comfort to put his and Meghan's stamp on it.
The Queen might give them a country home. Equally, Prince Charles owns land all over Great Britain. So yes, they may well have a country bolt hole as well as their London pad.
After their wedding, Prince William and Kate Middleton became the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. What will Harry and Meghan be called after they tie the knot?
I'd love it if she styled herself Ms. Meghan Wales. That would be amazing.
She would not be called, interestingly, Meghan, Princess Meghan. I know a lot of people call Kate Princess Kate in America. She's not. She's a duchess, not a princess.
We expect a dukedom. The ones that are currently empty is the Dukedom of Sussex or the Dukedom of Buckingham. Sussex is one of the ones that is favoured.
So it'll be Duchess Meghan and the Duchess of Sussex, and then the Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry's new name, although he'll forever be known as Prince Harry as well, because that's just the way it works.
The wedding of Prince Harry to his beautiful bride is a fairy tale to thrill romantics everywhere.
This match is a huge deal. The whole world has wanted Prince Harry to find a nice girl.
Someone else said to him, "When did you know she was the one?" And he laughed and said, "The very first moment I met her." And there you had it. I mean, it's so romantic.
You look at them and you can just see they're so in love.
She's reaching for his hand. He's got his hand on her back. She gives him that little look as if to say, "Are you okay?" He looks at her just to make sure she's okay.
Once Princess Diana passed, I think we all became really attached to her family, to her sons. We're rooting for them. We want them to do well.
What do you think your mother would have thought about Meghan?
At least they'd be thick as thieves. Without question. I think she would be over the moon, jumping up and down, you know, so excited for me. But then, as I said, would have probably been best friends with Meghan. So no, it is days like today when I really miss having her around and miss being able to share the happy news. But I'm sure she's with us. I'm sure she's with us, jumping up and down somewhere else.
Harry and Meghan are already honoring Diana through their global humanitarian work. Their future plans mean the new Duchess is likely to inherit from Diana the title of princess after all. Meghan, the new people's princess.
To many people in the UK and around the world, the British royal families have no relevance to them because they're just white, pale, male and stale. But to have Meghan, a mixed-race woman, marry in suddenly makes them a lot more relevant in the 21st century.